Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the only late night Dannphan streams on the Tuesday. It's the Tuesday. Although I get this isn't really a late night stream. It's like 6 p.m. where I am now. Than most of the streams that I do. The streams, I guess, are Friday with Dannphan. And those are at like 4:30. At least, here. I don't know what time it is for most of you, but... and then, game fan streams, those are the late ones. Those, like, start at 10 and go on till, like, 1 in the morning. Those can be a little bit too long, quite frankly, but... we have fun. We have fun playing games. So for this particular Tuesday, we're not going to do a Comic Talk Tuesday, but we are going to do a Drawing with Dannphan Tuesday, which is kind of like what I switch out, Sometimes we have guests to chit-chatty, and then sometimes we just doodle, or get to see what I'm working on and whatnot. Hopefully the audio is all good and stuff. I didn't fiddle with it that much, but I remember at one point the music was too loud, and it took forever for me to actually notice that. So, I don't know how many of you have tuned into the last Drawing with Dannphan, if you're caught up on the lore, but we do have a illustration to finish. And then I think if we can finish at least partially that illustration, at least, enough. I don't know how much detail I want to bother with, like, some of this shade. And, like, sort of finish it. That should be fine. And then maybe we can move on to something else. Another, like, in-between chapter illustration for Reaper, and maybe I'll let chat decide what should be the art piece that I do. I thought that would be fun. If you guys want to clink your heads together and see if you come up with any ideas, but for now we'll finish up this one. And hopefully you can see everything. Yeah, I think it looks fine. So, I could continue doing... oh man, I'm not in a super comfortable position. There we go. This darn laptop is like right on my hand. Alright, well, we'll make do for now. But it's not comfy. Yes, so... I guess I can start kinda doing like the bark on the trees, maybe? The grass, I feel like, is a very easy thing to do, because I'm just, like, adding in the, like, dark shading. I've done, like, some of it in the forefront, etc., etc. But I haven't really started on the trees that much yet. So, I'm thinking maybe I'll do that. Look at my workspace. I'm basically doing everything in one layer. I'm a madman! Alrighty, let's do some trees. Huh? And then while I'm doing this, you guys should be thinking of some fun ideas for the next chapter illustration that we're gonna do for Reaper. Hell yeah. I don't have that much left to do. I don't know how much you guys have been keeping up with progress reports, but I don't really have that much to do for Reaper for it to be, like, ready to go to the printers. We're basically just in, like, the editing process, right? Which can take a while depending on, like, how much you need to fix over time. Why do these lines look super light? I should go darker than this. But yeah, so most of what I'm going to be doing is like waiting for feedback from other people. There's also some art pieces that I'll be waiting on, or waiting to hear if they have time to do the art pieces for the other chapter covers. And if they don't, that's fine. But, you know, gotta see what I'm doing about that when we get there. I don't think my computer has enough space to actually vent. It's a very crowded desk, this upstairs one. Not that my other desk is any less crowded, but, you know. This one's tinier, I guess. I am, for the most part, enjoying this, this new tablet. Though I'm having, like, an issue every now and then where I gotta, like, reinstall the drivers just because it just stops working. Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum. Happens, I guess. So far this drawing is really good. Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doing the best I can with what I got. You know how it is. Why do these... Even now, the lines look super light. Am I not pressing down hard enough? Or do I just need to keep on adding thickness? I remember I was like kind of disappointed for Horizon Quest. The lines were too light to the point where you couldn't really see a lot of them. And that was a absolute pain. Not all the detail came through in the print. Specifically, you could see it if you got the PDF, but maybe that's what it is. Yeah, you know what? Maybe because I just like reset my settings. Let me see what we got here. Pen settings. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely did. Alright, well good to know I'm not absolutely crazy. How does one even, like, test this while it's in the other window? Okay. Well, it is harder. Yep. Oh yeah, okay. Alright. Hey, David Myers. And Creslet. Oh, God, it's hot. I don't know, how you guys have been faring against the newly hot weather. Not been as well as I thought that I would have. I do much better against the cold weather, I really do. That's why I want to live somewhere nice and cold. I do get cold all the time, except for summer. Well, like, summer, you know, summer is one of those weird weather things where it's like, I'll still get chills, but I'll also be... And it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Jesus. I don't think this laptop should be cooking that badly. No wonder it's hot in here. All the heat's coming from my laptop. I don't know, I guess because it's streaming, it's requiring more power. Yeah. I need more darkness on these trees. I'm just blending in way too much. Granted, I might have the background just be a night sky, but your voice gets a bit robotic when you talk? Well, it shouldn't. It's not like I have any effects on. What would be making it go robotic? That's weird. When you say robotic, do you mean like an echo, or do you mean like it's cutting in and out? Like, am I losing frames like in a video game, or am I just echoing like I'm in a church hallway? Cuts in and out. Sounds straight up like a robot? I don't understand. Those are two different things. So it's gotta be like one thing or the other, right? Hey, look. No, everything's normal. Yeah. Yeah, everything looks normal in my audio. At first I thought, oh, maybe I have like the, filter out noise, but no, everything looks average. Do you draw with vector or a raster? I do vector. It's much easier and usually long run. Especially when you're like me and you make a all the time. Could have been on my end. I have no idea. Yeah. Whatever became of the ASMR drawing pad, I put it in the box and put it away. And I have no need to use it now. 'Cause I got a new one. It is where it belongs, off of my desk. But yeah. So almost, very, very close with being finished Reaper Book 1. And then what's next? Reaper Book 2. I did start on like some draft pages for Reaper Book 2. Not that I'm super far into it, of course. I have a general idea of what I want to do. A general outline, you know. Originally, when I was planning on doing this series, I thought I would have 2 books drafted out ahead of time. And that I would be like super uber prepared, you know, when I did this. But what happened was my hard drive died. And yeah, so I ended up being super behind on literally every project that I was doing. And it just didn't work out that way. I also lost the original draft for original draft pages. Not that I did a ton of them, but I did do some work for Reaper Book 2 that is never going to be seen again. It is what it is. It probably turned out better when I rewrote things by memory. That's like an old school writing trick, is you write your very first draft, right? And then throw the entire thing in the memory. And then, like, usually how it is in your memory is better than what it was when you first wrote it down. Not all the time, of course, but for some people, it really does turn out like that. There's a certain type of magic in replaying something by memory. You know what I mean? They say that about, like, art, too. When you draw a character, or draw one of your characters, one of your OCs, by memory, by not, like, looking up any reference or your original design or anything, you will automatically be simplifying the design to its bare elements. And then sometimes what you end up having is a much better design, much more recognizable design of that exact character. And that has definitely happened to me multiple times when I design a character, and then when I'm doing a comic with that character, as I'm drawing the character from memory, the design that ends up actually being on the page is a better, more simplified design than what it originally was. And you could apply this same logic to writing, or vice versa, where sometimes your memory of something is better than the actual original. You could apply it to nostalgia. Sometimes you love a show when you were growing up, but you look at it today and it's not as good as you remember it. The show that you had in your memory was much better. You know how it is. I'm gonna put some leaves up here later, but for right now, just focus on this bark. As you can imagine, the pages within Reaper are not going to have this much autistic level of detail, but I did my best to make them, and we're doing our best to make this illustration look a little extra special. It's now officially like hot outside. I haven't been able to flag down the ice cream man once. That son of a bitch. Avoiding me. He knows I have to watch my figure. Never gonna get that bubbles pop now. Tragic? Yeah, I know. Very tragic. Ugh. You know, this pen sensitivity still just doesn't feel quite right. I don't know if I'm insane. I probably had it, like, set to something very specific. And I'll have to, like, do some investigating to figure out what I did the first time. It's so annoying to have to reinstall your drivers because your tablet just stops working one day. Have to write down what my pen settings are. Because this is not the first time that it has made me reinstall the drivers. This has happened a bunch of times at this point. Does Dannphan like horror? I guess it depends. I find most, like, scary movies to be, absolute garbage. I guess that's not entirely, like, it's not entirely a new opinion that I'm throwing out there, but I like good horror, I suppose. Of course, the definition changes from person to person, but, you know. I do enjoy a little psychological horror and some spooky elements here and there. But I don't enjoy gross stuff. I don't like it when a movie is trying to make me vomit while I'm watching it. That just doesn't seem pleasant in the slightest. Call me crazy. And I don't like jump scares. Yeah, jump scares are very low tier for me. You know, it's on the table. Alrighty. So, anyone in chat see the Spy X Family movie? It was in theaters, or I guess it still is in theaters if you go to the right places. We were hanging out with friends. Goddamn, people mowing the lawn at 6:25 p.m.? What the fuck? We were hanging out with friends this weekend, And we were like, hey, Spy X Family movie's playing, you wanna see it? Because, like, our original plans fell through. So we were just like, fuck it. Let's just do whatever. And I remembered that the Spy X Family movie was playing. So we saw that. I have a plan to actually make it and maybe upload that tomorrow. Tomorrow-ish. Yeah, I'm not doing very good as far as goes out in a timely manner, but can you blame me? I'm just getting done like this crazy long comic. Man, I made these trees so, like, swervy. Which I guess that's fine. I mean, sometimes trees really do be swerving like that. But, you know. I'm gonna have to add some tones to these trees. Which will probably hide all the detail that I just spent all this time doing. But they're just not turning out dark enough. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna do tones for this. Maybe I'm not that good if I have to use tones for cheating. Just gotta press the pen down harder. Only been reading the manga? Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, the manga's better. It's definitely better. Not that the movie was horrible or anything. No, it's your average movie based on an anime scene now. It's like, oh, so they hired different writers. Understand? Oh, I guess, you know. Review coming soon. Hey, you gave the gem. Well, it's adapting the cruise arc. Well, they already went on the cruise in, like, season 2, right? The movie was an entirely different story. Although it kind of has the same premise of them going on like a vacation somewhere and then danger erupts. Anya like accidentally swallows this chocolate that has a microfilm in it that has some information that's going to lead to war, but we don't know what the information is. It seems like I should know what the information is at this point. You know, like in the series, they bother to tell you what information is, but not the series, right? They're like, man, nobody cares. Nobody cares, not important. To be fair, depending on how damning the information is, it could very well be important. Especially if it's information that's going to put everyone at war, you know what I mean? Was the end of the story with the faulty tablet? Well, I just put it away. I'm just not using it. I mean, like, nothing else happened. I just got a new tablet, and now I'm using that one. I'm so behind on Spy X Family news. Yeah, I mean, I keep up with the chapters on like Manga Plus and stuff like that. It's like one of the best series running so far, right? Or, well, of recently, right? There's a lot of good series out there running. But Spy X Family is definitely tops for me. It's definitely up there. Because it is wholesome and based. Very based. I also love Frieren, which is also wholesome based. There's a couple series I've been following. I've been watching the Delicious in Dungeon anime. That manga ended a while back, and I read the end of that, and it was decent. It was decent. It was okay. I'm impressed by how much the artist improved their skills throughout the series. You can really tell, you know? In the beginning, like, there's a lot of, like, simplistic stuff that they're drawing. And they get a little bit more comfortable doing more complicated stuff. And characters they just look at their tops, you know? Yeah. I didn't finish watching the anime series, though. I watched, like... it's kind of weird talking about it, but I was watching it with Adam before, and we came across this really poorly directed scene, which wasn't that far into the anime. But it was just poorly directed because of it's definitely an anime choice. Because I don't remember it being like that in the manga, and I can always cross-reference, of course. But they just made... Maybe I'm not prepared exactly to explain what was bad with the scene. But they just made, like, it seem overly vicious, that, like, without spoiling anything. They made these characters just... and, like, over-the-top nonsense. And they are supposed to be evil, right? Or they're supposed to be bad guys or whatever. But it was way too disturbing, and then it just shifts into comedy, like, way too quickly. And it's very jarring. And it makes it seem like they just don't care or don't have any souls whatsoever by the fact that they don't react to it. Or at least don't react properly enough to it, you know? Like, the mood is off. So it's an anime thing. But the manga, I don't think it had that problem. I might have just, like, forced myself to keep reading afterwards. I don't know. It's a good series. I still like Delicious in Dungeon, and I enjoyed the ending. But I haven't been watching the anime since then, because it feels kind of bad to watch it without Adam, and he was really turned off by it after that one scene. There's a lot of stuff on my watch list also, so plenty of things to switch to. We've been watching the Kaiju number 8 anime as those episodes have come out, and that's been pretty decent. The anime definitely looks more derpy than the manga, and if you haven't checked out the art from the manga, do so. Because characters, they just look derpy. I don't know how better to describe it than that. They are some derpy characters. But the art for Kaiju number 8 in the manga is genuinely very good. So I kind of feel bad that maybe the artist's talents are not being represented fully. I've done like a video comparing the character designs in the anime versus in the manga. If you haven't seen it already, you can go take a look at that so you can see some context as to what I'm talking about. And I did see kind of a drop in quality as far as animation budget goes within episode 1 to episode 2. Granted, you know, maybe they just figured that particular episode didn't need as much budget, so it's not as big a deal. That's fine. Whatever. It's not that big a deal. It isn't, but I do have my radar up when I notice things like, because I'm thinking to myself, oh no, is the anime about to get significantly worse all of a sudden? You actually hate this all of a sudden? I don't know. But no, it's been pretty fine from the stuff that I have seen. I was pretty surprised to see how it was. I guess that applies to the change in art style as well, because the art style, the new art style that they're going with, is kind of fake anime looking. It kind of looks Western anime, doesn't it? Maybe more polished than Western anime, granted, but not as high quality. Alright, that should be good. Sorry, once again, I'm not really like working on that interesting of stuff. I'm just like fucking shading trees and shit. But to be fair, I did say that if you came up with another idea for a new chapter illustration, I'll switch to doing that. I could also just come up with my own idea, but it's more fun on stream if you come up with it, right? Yeah, one of the most jarring things about the Kaiju number 8 anime that I have encountered thus far is that the opening and ending themes are in English. Not by Japanese bands or anything. It's a British band or guy. Is it a one guy thing, or I don't know. It's a British guy doing the opening theme. It's very poppy. And then it's One Republic. And it's extra poppy. It just sounds like I'm listening to a song on the radio. It doesn't sound like something that you listen to pump yourself up for watching kaiju get killed, you know? So very odd choices. But what can I say? I like the story. I really enjoy... I really am enjoying, because it's still going on, the manga. So I will eat it all up. I will. I will watch all of the anime until it does something incredibly awful that I cannot excuse. And right now, we have not reached that point. So I'm gonna say, yeah, it's decent. It's just that all I'm saying is, you know, one instead of hiring a Japanese band who starving for work. And it's a little bit of an odd choice. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. I do wonder, how did they make that choice? Like, did someone just really like One Republic and wanted a... they really just wanted a chance to work with them? Because when you think of kaiju fights, I'm 1000% sure you're not thinking of One Republic. I'm pretty darn sure you would not be thinking of One Republic. You can't look me in the eyes and tell me, oh yeah, this... well, you know... Fa la 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 la. Official AMV. Yeah, it's an official one. It's rare to find an English song as an opening. Yeah, of course, because they wanna hire their own. They usually want to keep it in-house. Granted, that is changing in Japan, and that is something to be wary of. They're outsourcing more and more, and now it seems as though they're more open to catering to overseas audiences. We've seen that with production committees, and I wonder if hiring American pop bands, like they're doing, or, well, American and British saying, I'm wondering if that's part of them trying to cater to English-speaking countries. Because granted, you know, we do put a lot of money towards Japan by buying a lot of this anime merchandise and the manga and everything. It is where a lot of the profit comes from. Not that all of it comes from there, but, you know. So maybe they do feel like they have to try to make us happy. I just hope that that doesn't go the wrong direction. The one direction. Because at the end of the day, part of why we're enjoying anime as opposed to our own stuff is because it is different. It's because we're not happy with our own stuff. We don't want Japan to turn into what, for example, what America is like now. Except for indie comics. You know what I mean. My comics are poppin'. I don't know what you're talking about. Ooh, I'm starting to get a little bit lazy. 3 tree, 4 more to go? This is not dark enough. I know it's not dark enough. I can see it. I can see it with my eyeballs. Well, now it just looks like scribbles. There have been times in the past where they used English songs for anime, even when it wasn't something getting dubbed or something. Well, I know that they have, like, sort of a fascination with using multiple languages in music. And it's not uncommon for people to speak English in Japan. However, as I was saying before, they're not hiring in-house. They're hiring out-of-house. And they're commissioning the song. They're not just using a pop song that the creator likes, you know, like JoJo, but you know, another movie that, another anime movie I saw recently, saw it with Adam and his, after they were working out. We rewatched that I'd seen before, the Dragon Ball Super movie, which I actually like. That's a decent movie. Granted, you know, maybe it needed more time and care put into it since it's kicking off the Super series, but I still liked it, right? It was a-okay. I don't even care if it was a little inconsistent or goofy or spent a lot of time not doing much of anything. I don't care. I enjoyed it. I did. So, that's what I got to say about that. But I also saw the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, which is the retcon Broly story. And I for the most part enjoyed that too. Granted, I don't have much backstory on watching the original Broly movie. I was not an OG fan, right? According to Adam, multiple people say it's trash. So I don't think I was missing too much. Granted, you know, it could have been better. There's a lot of time wasted. And the funny part is I don't feel like the time was wasted during the Super movie. But for some reason I feel like it was being wasted during the Broly movie. Tells you. The Broly slaps. I rewatch it occasionally. Nice, nice. Yeah, Adam was trying to find the original Broly movie at one point in time, and then the version that he found was like super fucked up audio. Couldn't understand shit. But I'm sure that there's a more advanced piracy site now that probably has it. Oh yeah, the fights anyways. Well, all people want are the fights. It's kind of weird though, because like, in the Super movie, they were switching every now and then, just like occasionally they would switch from 2D to 3D. Like the characters would all of a sudden be 3D, and it looked like you were watching like a video game cutscene. Not the worst in the world, granted. But it was a little bit jarring. I guess that's what you need to do to extend a fight scene to being 90% of the movie. Sacrifices must be made. Blood for the blood god. Tracking new metal at 200% and dialogue at 40%. Yeah, that too. Yeah, you know, it really took a while for dubbing companies to understand what audio levels should be, and even now, they still occasionally just get it completely wrong. What's up with that? I thought it was like their job or something. It's crazy. And then again, I guess that movie was like from the 90s or something. It was super fucking old. Man, Dragon Ball Z is old. It's charming though, I'll give it that. It is very charming. You can see why it's like lasted for as long as it has when you watch it. I'm not gonna bother doing the ends of this tree branch because that's gonna be leaves there later on. So yeah, ladies, do you have any recommendations for another Reaper illustration that I should do? Post them now. Any characters you'd like to see a full illustration for? I was saying before, I made a big mistake when I was putting together Reaper Book 1, because I made the whole story without really any big titty waifus. And a big mistake. You gotta at least have one in there, even if they have no real connection to the story. Gotta have them. Gotta have them. Because who are you gonna do pinups of if you don't have the big titty waifu, you know? It's like there's so many shonen series out there where like 90% of the in-between chapter covers are in fact whatever the female big titty character. A million different suggestive positions. Because they know. They know that is her purpose. It's the only way you can keep the modern day attention span. But I made a mistake. I own up to it. I have like one girl in the background of the bar with big titties, and I should have put her at the forefront and then just drew her for every single chapter in multiple suggestive positions. That's what I should have done. There's also the priestess of... She's fucking dead, you know? A fly. Drawing her in seductive poses. I don't know if that's exactly what we qualify respectful. Yeah, girls make a good contrast of violence. I have a contrast of violence, I do. Just not with big titties. I have a small titty contrast to violence, and it's just not enough. Oh boy. This is a perfect time for someone to join in on stream and be like, what the fuck is she talking about? do Sir Sidharth when he was posing for the statue. That's a cute idea, I guess. I would imagine a Hercules situation, right? You know, from the Disney movie. Where he's like kind of awkward and moving. But I think tragically the issue there is just that I can't show his face since he has the helmet on for the statue. You could argue maybe that's something they added in later. I don't know. Maybe he was making such an awkward face that they just slapped a fucking helmet on him. I wish I could post pics in YouTube chat. Sorry, I'm only glancing over at the screen every now and then. So I might miss some deepest lore. But do feel free to repeat yourself if I didn't read your message. Because eventually I will glance at the screen again. You know what I mean? Sir Sidharth wearing Scar as a reference to that scene. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. You put him with the lion's head. Could have an exhausted sculpture waiting impatiently while Sidharth plays with kids who came to watch. Aw, that's cute. It's not going to be a two-pager like this one, though. So it'd be maybe a little bit difficult, because that sounds like a wide shot scene. I don't know. How would I do that in one page? I spent these 2 pages drawing trees and grass. Oh, I don't like that feature where you scroll on the... Yeah, that's not good. Anyway. Alrighty, let me take a brief break. I was thinking to myself, man, you know, I should be able to finish this today. It's just like trees and grass, you know? But then I actually do it, and it's just a lot of repetitive motion, and that's like the most that you really start to feel in your arm. You feel that repetitive motion over and over again. Granted, these trees as detailed as I made them. That's my bad. That's my bad on that. Oh, that's my bad on that one. But still. Ugh. Oh, yeah. And then, like, God forbid now I add tones to these trees and you don't get to see any of these details. Oh man. Hark, I hear wheels on yonder. Sir Sidharth crying because he never expressed his true feeling wench and lost his one chance for true love. Sounds like a story, right? Alrighty. Maybe we should we should think of something simpler. Thicken line tool on hatching. Well, that'll certainly make the lines thicker. Okay. Need or want them to be thicker? I'm not sure. Like black out? Is that just my screen that does that? Is it just like blacking out every time I scroll out a little bit too quickly? A little bit too quackly. This. Dannphan, you can cheat and add lichen spots to save some of the detailing. Sometimes duplicate the layer and then erase parts of the new layer to lighten things back up. That is a thing. You see, yes, I could just use, like, I could also just use a brush to do this detailing for me. I just wanted it to have a nice personal touch, and now I regret this decision. Because I realize that it probably takes more time than it's worth. And, probably no one's gonna look at this page for like more than 2 seconds. They're gonna just flip right past it and go to the rest of the plot, you know? But it's a nice thought, right? You know what they say when you get a present that you don't like? It's the thought that counts. Alright. I feel like I'm almost done. Oh. Yeah, there's 3 more trees, huh? But, it's kinda close. Guess we could add more mushrooms. Oh, goodbye, Joseph Choi. Would you be willing to sell it? Oh, to sell the squeaking tablet? Sure. Yeah. I would sell it. But, you know, it is a pain. I tried to apply one of those, like, screen protectors to it to see if that would stop the squeaking. Wouldn't be able to tell you if it worked because it was just such a pain in the ass. I never was able to apply it correctly. I did apply it to this one, though, funny enough. For some reason, this one, it wasn't as difficult on. Or maybe I was just more careful with this one. I don't know. The world is a funny place. Ha ha ha. You guys see my latest video? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had to see that. Apologies, honestly. I don't even know, like... I thought about doing that video on that manga a long time ago. And then I talked myself out of it because I was like, what am I doing? Am I actually gonna read this? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with my... Later on, I was like, maybe people would think that was funny if I did a review on that manga. And then, like, I read the comments to the manga, right? And they were like, it's actually pretty wholesome and nice, and now I love it. Like, wholesome? What did they... Is this not a fetish manga? You know, like, whoa. How did they make this good if they made it good? And then I read it. And I was like, okay, this is trash, and now I need to make a video about it. Because now I was tricked into reading it. It was confirmed absolute garbage. And then, in order to get back all the time that I lost reading it, I had to make the video. Honestly, I don't go through much of the manga. Like, I go through the key story beats and, like, mock those parts, right? But, like, just the scene-to-scene writing on its own is awful. It is genuinely quite badly written. And then it just turns into politics at the end of it. They just couldn't... Oops. Yeah, terrible. Not my favorite. I know maybe sometimes I have a hot take, but I don't know about this one, man. I don't know if there's a lot of nuance to be had here. Boy. Yeah, we're getting close. Ugh, we are getting close. Thick vines so you don't have to detail as much? Yeah, well, that reminds me, I have to detail these vines over here. You have to detail everything, man. Ugh, I used a brush for the bush, you can tell, and I'm probably gonna go over that with tones. I'm just wondering if I should use tones on this bark when I went through all this effort to do all this detailing on it, because I don't know if that'll cover up the detailing. I'll experiment, I suppose, because I think this piece is going to look a little bit strange without any screen tones at all. So I think I will add them. And then we'll just see like where they fit the best. Makes no sense for just the statue to have vines. Well, the idea is, right, that vines grow and then they cling on to whatever is closest to growing. Are in the background. I don't know if I clear that up. You see how this vine is all the way over here? Yeah. There's also like stuff here, right? I could draw more vines over here, I guess, but you know. I didn't do the bottom of this. Why didn't you call me out on that? That's super problematic, chat. Well, for feedback for the final Reaper draft, I'm already like catching a million things that I have to fix in the art, especially. I really am my worst critic. I feel like I should stop myself from doing like all the editing on my own and like just wait for somebody to get back to me first so that I can be more efficient about it. But you know, waiting is not my strong suit. I'm kind of just not used to not working. It just doesn't like sit well with my brain. I always kind of have to be doing something. Oof, yeah. I feel it. Tones do not print good. You're like a year too late, dude. I've been working on this comic for a while. I'm gonna get a print. I'm gonna get a print and see how it looks. Because I know other people who have printed with tones and they did it obviously incorrectly. The things that I would obviously never do. And then they're like, don't print with tones. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna print the way that you printed the tones, but but maybe I just do it better. How about diet? You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll get a physical proof, so I'll be able to see what it looks like when it's printed, and then I'll see if it looks good or not. And if it doesn't look good, it's not that big a deal to just go back and change it. In my experience, the regular gray tones, like not the screen tones, they didn't look good. So that's why I'm moving to screen tones. Because I theorized that it might look better. The curse of the artist. Yes, wait and get the feedback first, and if stuff still bothers you, then fix it. But you might be surprised. I probably will just end up fixing all the things that bother me, regardless of whether or not they bother other people. Unless I'm really pressed for time, then I'll probably just try to fix everything that I notice. If I run out of time, you know, it is what it is, but I do my best to make sure that at least I think it turned out good. What other artists do to make this process go by faster. Because whenever you see like those super duper detailed illustrations, this is essentially they're doing like a lot of this repetitive motion, but it really does like start to get to you after a while. And I don't know if they just enjoy pain or if they're doing something that makes this process faster or easier, or what's going on. I know they have like assistants, but usually from what I understand, a lot of the assistants will be working on like just adding screen tones or like the basic work, maybe inking over something, and maybe in modern situations. I believe this was not always the case, but what they do a lot these days is they have a completely separate artist do the backgrounds. Like, just do all the environments and backgrounds for the mangaka, which sounds insane because it's uncredited. And, you know, like, you're a big part of what a manga. Although I guess if they're not super complicated backgrounds, if they're just like, you know, trace over this photograph and put this in the background, maybe it's not that big a deal. But still. I would be ecstatic to have the option of just having a background artist. But it is more profitable for me to just learn how to do backgrounds. And I imagine the same is true of most of the aspiring comic creators out there. It's like, yes, drawing backgrounds are a pain. Yes, it's a lot of this. If you want them to be like detailed and nice looking, it's a whole lot of pain in the arm, right? But they will turn out looking nice. And you won't have to pay a completely different artist to do work that you could have taught yourself to do, etc., etc. You can tell I'm starting to get lazier and lazier as I do them. Save the one that's furthest in the back for the last one, so I can have the least amount of detail on that one. You're zooming in a too thin a brush. Man, you have no idea. This is not that not that far into the illustration, really. But I don't know if I've really explained before. I have really bad vision, so I know that a lot of artists, they like just draw like this and then like draw the person from like way far out and then it turns out okay, I can't see. So it doesn't turn out okay for me. I have to zoom in pretty far to actually see what I'm drawing. Even now, I'm like leaning towards the screen. Probably part of the reason why my back hurts. Yep, probably looking at some laser surgery in the future. But it's okay for now. We'll wait until it's illegal for me to drive and then we'll fix it. Whew. Yep, I feel it. Oh yeah. Nice, nice, nice. Don't worry, I can draw your background. I have MS Paint on this computer and a good graphics card. Hell yeah, Adam. That would be really funny for like a jokey comic, actually. Just hire Adam to do the background art. Completely different art styles. If you can call Adam's art an art style. Alright, didn't do the branches, so I gotta do those. And this one up here. Whew. Alright, I'm saving this one for the last one, but yep. I'd love to to have a drawing competition with you using one of those wizard orb mouses. Oh my goodness. I had at Home Goods briefly, they sold painting on the cheap. I had to explain how they sold them so cheap. So a co-worker once, you see what I mean? I can't fucking see. I said it's a paint on canvas with a clear coat brushed on. They varied brush strokes, but they didn't match where they should be for a painting. Ugh, man. Yeah, what kind of videos would you like to see me and Adam do? Let's have chat decide that. And part of me does have that temptation, because I watch those types of videos, part of me has that temptation to do some sort of you laugh, you lose type thing. But like, make the stakes very minor. I know that those videos probably aren't the ones that are worth making, because they always like get super demonetized and copyright struck and stuff. However, It would be fun. Remember when videos used to be like, for fun? That would be crazy, man. Did a video for fun. What the heck? Fun video? What? It's insanity. And maybe, even there's the chance that it won't get copyright struck. Dude. And then we make money on it? What? Insanity. Probably not a lot of money though, probably like $2, but still. That's $2 that the copywriters didn't get. Drink orange juice after having something mint. Ultimate punishment. I don't think it's really that bad. I don't see what all the hubbub is about. It tastes fine. Just tastes like orange juice and mint. I don't get it. I do remember PewDiePie, for one of his You Laugh, You Lose, he had like the wheel of pain that decided his punishment. And sometimes it would be something like really silly, like, oh, drink a glass of water. Like, that's so difficult for him because he's always sponsored by G Fuel. But then there was the punishment that was actually just like painful for everyone, including the people watching. It was donate to a charity that you disagree with. And that genuinely is a terrible... So, like, you see him do that as part of the punishment, and then the mood of the video just completely changes, and he's just like, okay, now I'm just pissed. But yeah, it's brutal for you watching, too, because, like, don't donate to them. Don't do it. Find some other punishment, please. It is a genuine punishment. I'll give it that, because it is genuinely something he doesn't want to do. But it's not enjoyable, you know? It's the same thing with a lot of, like I still kind of enjoy Impractical Jokers, but it's kind of the same thing there, where it's like sometimes the punishments that they do, a lot of them are punishments, but they're not enjoyable to watch. There's a fine line. Between entertainment and just fucking torture. The hell? I'm not saying it's delicious. I'm just saying it just doesn't taste that uniquely bad. I've had a lot of bad things in my life. Especially bad mac and cheese. Awful, awful mac and cheese. Mint and orange juice? Not as bad as that mac and cheese. It just tastes like mint and orange juice. I don't know what is uniquely bad about that. Adam, like, made me drink that. Drink orange juice after, like, having a mint or something, or brushing my teeth, I think it was, so that he could... I'll have no idea. I just don't get it. Maybe our toothpaste isn't minty enough. Kind of making me crave orange juice, not gonna lie. Think I could go for some OJ, and I ain't talking Simpson. Alright. Well, we're close. Ugh. Yep. I don't think that actually happened, but I have talked about making a punishment for a game. No, you definitely had me do it before. Because I kept on saying, well, I don't understand what the big deal is. I've never done it before. We were talking about it at one point. And then you had me brush my teeth and drink orange juice so that I could see. And I still didn't, I still don't get it. Maybe it's about time you realized the weakness of your flesh. Try drinking orange juice after using an orange-flavored zinc lozenge. Tastes like what stink bombs smell like. Jeez. That, I believe. That does actually sound terrible. Don't they, like, also sell mint orange candy? I feel like they sell mint everything candy at this point. So, maybe that's cheating, but I mean, someone out there must like that flavor, right? They also sell jalapeno milk, granted. What was that one that John sent us? Jalapeno lemon? Lemonade? Yes, that was it. Jalapeno lemonade. Would you guys have that? They also sell rat poison. Well, to be fair, rats probably really like that flavor. That's why they eat it. Mint orange doesn't have citrus acid. Is it the acid that's the problem? I thought it was the actual taste. Well, I don't know, like orange juice in general is citrusy. I don't know. Mint chocolate chip ice cream. It is good. It is quite delicious. Trisha is the shittiest X-Men. Immunity to orange juice and toothpaste combination. Yeah, I guess so. It's the shittiest power ever. Now imagine. There's a supervillain duo, right? It's Mint Man and the orange juicer. And combined, they make everyone sick. But not me. Because I am the chosen one for defeating them. Like, he is a supervillain or something. It is I, Mintman, here to keep your breath fresh all day. It's like the male version of the Orbit Girl. Yes. I don't know if there's multiple Orbit Girls, but there's just the one that I remember. I was there an hour ago, it's still... You wouldn't be able to tell, because it's all the way over here now. It's the opposite side of the... I'm just zoomed in, man. Chat isn't here for my drawing. They're here to hear me rant about things. We all know it. You're not requesting enough drawing. That's why I'm drawing trees. I said that I would switch to something else if there was a good request. Nobody's trying. Just enjoy the magic, folks. Yeah. You tell them, Gabe. I thought it was initially because you used bubblegum toothpaste, like fucking Willy Wonka. Bubblegum toothpaste is good. I mean, what I actually used, I don't think I always use bubblegum toothpaste, but I definitely had the bubblegum flavor mouthwash, which is still a bestseller, of course, because it's like the alcoholic burn of mint in your mouth. Just have some bubblegum, dude. Obviously, I don't use it anymore, but, you know. If I wanted a good, clean feeling, I would... Yeah, I'd fuck with some bubblegum mouthwash. Sounds good. Cola toothpaste was better. We ate a lot in kindergarten. That is very funny. I appreciate it. How much cocaine did that toothpaste have in it? Ooh. We're close. We're close, you know? It's just trees, guys. I thought you would get bored from the grass, so I switched to trees. Now it's not boring at all. To be fair, I would have done this on my own and drawn something completely different, but I never really sketched anything new up for for another chapter illustration. Then I thought, well, why don't I just do this to start, and then maybe someone will have an idea for something I should sketch for a new chapter illustration. That was the thought. But maybe I should just always come up with my own chapter illustrations. It sounds like the consensus was do a Siddharth thing, which I certainly can do, of course. I was considering at one point doing like a Romero chapter thing. Maybe just of him looking cool, right? He's a cool guy. Cool guy doing cool things. So that wouldn't be too bad either. Although maybe there's like more story to tell with Siddharth. If I wanted to do like more of like what I did for the poster, where it's like part of the story that's not needed to be told in this first book, but still obviously happened, where they're destroying, or that particular wizard is destroying the bridges that lead to the castle. After saving the rest of the party. Could do something like that with Siddharth, where we tell part of his story that might have not been told elsewhere in the comic. There is a lot to add to that character for sure. Certainly a lot of places where he could have been during his journeys being a knight. I could do the classic knight slaying the dragon with him, although I don't think I don't to draw him fucking up a dragon without needing multiple panels. You know what I mean? Could just have him after a dragon fight, just dragging back the head or something. What else is a fun thing Siddharth could be fighting for glory? Maybe a chimera? Go for like some classic things. Maybe look at Dragon's Dogma's repertoire. Let's see if any of those creatures catch my eye. Maybe have Ichabod imitate a pose or something from a fighting game or RPG? I don't know, is that too filthy casual? Will that like take people out of the story? If I do something like Goofy's? Not that it has to be something like goofy looking, but you know what I mean. Sometimes people really appreciate the references, and then other times they're like, cringe, you know? I feel like maybe people won't take it as seriously of a story. Not that it's super serious all the time. Certainly lean towards being That must be a StreamYard thing. Because I have noticed it doing that every now and then. Alright, almost done the trees. Look at us go. Ugh, just doing my stretches. I don't know what to suggest to draw. It's fine. Yeah, I mean. I doubt many people would know the games I've mentioned. I mean, I don't know them. That's for sure. But I don't know. Is it also a good reference if it's not noticeable? Ooh. Well, I can certainly save the other illustration for next time. There's no real reason why I absolutely have to do it today. I don't think, whatever I work on next, I don't want it to take as long as this one, that's for sure. Granted, I've taken, like, a lot of breaks while doing this one. Like, multiple day breaks. And that's because I've been working on the... But also, as you can see, this one is genuinely taking too long. More time than intended or needed, really. Ooh, I love obscure references, but if no one gets it, then it's a little meh. Huh. If there is a cool pose, I mean, I can always use a cool pose anywhere. But, you know. It's kind of funny. I was, well, I was on Reddit, which is not a place I would normally recommend for people to go. But, I was on, like, the comics, or was it manga? Yes, it was the manga Reddit. And somebody was asking for suggestions for, like, fantasy or isekais, where the main character was using literally anything but a sword. Because they were like, so sick of seeing characters using swords. Swords are boring. I want a character using literally anything else. And of course there are a few suggestions that I can throw out there. But I'm thinking to myself, damn. Ichabod, you know, he starts off with daggers, but then he uses a sword. Or then he gets, you know, so I don't know if I could even suggest my own comic to that person. Because technically, you know, technically for one book, he's not using a sword. Sorry, dog's being bad, barking over there. Unless it's the ice cream man, I don't want to hear it, Gurgi. Berserk. It's more like a hunk of iron than it is a sword. Yeah, right. It is a funny suggestion, though. You know, yeah, up here. This one I didn't do yet. Now, I really appreciate having the hotkeys on, well, actually on the tablet now. The Wacom one didn't have hotkeys. Isn't that fucking insane? I have a nice wheel I can scroll in and out with. I appreciate it. I do. I feel like I was gonna go somewhere with that, but I got nothing. Sorry. This conversation was useless. Oh yeah, I was going to say, okay, riveting stuff right here. You're gonna want to grab a pen and a notepad. What I was going to say is that sometimes when I'm not looking, I try to hit the undo button, and it's not the right button. It's my thumb just doesn't naturally rest on the undo button. More so rests on the save button. Sometimes I overshoot it. The XP pen display button. Real hassle. You're learning more about the art world every day. Oh my god, there's 33 people watching me. I'm so boring. I get it. No, I get it. I'm not making fun of you. I too appreciate a chill stream every now and then. And we are going full-blown chill over here. Spear is a villain weapon, in my experience. I don't know. I feel like there have been some, like, side characters who use some sort of, maybe not spear, maybe a halberd, but... main characters, it's a little bit more finicky, because I feel like most people always want the main character to use the sword, because the sword is super cool, and it's super, like, knightly-like, you know? But I have definitely seen things where the main character's not school. Makun, he uses, like, the magical bow arrow combination, right? That is something. It's technically an isekai, although it's not much of a fantasy, but you know, yeah, it's something. It is a suggestion. If I were to offer suggestions to you guys as well, I don't really get sick of the main characters using a sword. I understand wanting variety, totally. But I don't think I've ever been at that point where I'm sick of a main character using a sword, because, like, of the manga and anime series that I've watched where the main character is the classic sword wielder type, they don't typically... It's gonna sound mean, but they don't typically do anything really that satisfying with the sword, so it always kind of makes me want to see more stuff with a sword, because they don't do anything that great with it. Like, most of the time you're watching a series and the dude's just swinging it around randomly, or they're just like, they have, like, magic ki blasts coming from the sword, right? But they're not using the sword, like, to an intelligent degree. And a lot of these isekais, especially, they ain't got no budget. the studio's just approving anything that comes through that's an isekai. And so you get a lot of freeze frames of them not actually swinging the sword, but just like putting it away in a sheath after they're done using it. So it's like, yeah, I could use more sword stuff. I'm not gonna get sick of that, because maybe in this anime they'll actually like use it, you know? Maybe they'll actually use it in a satisfying, cool way, rather than just doing something else with it. I also, of course, love knights and stuff like that. Like, if people are gonna ask me to make a fantasy character for them, first thing I'm gonna think is a knight. A very cool knight guy. Last thing I'm gonna think of is, like, some dude with a spear, or a halberd, or a bow and arrow. Not that those can't be characters, or not even that they can't be interesting characters or main characters. It's just not what I'm gonna think of when I think of cool main character. I do, in fact, have a bias. That's just how it is. That's how living is, you know? Sometimes you just have certain ways that you feel about something. What am I doing? I went through all this effort saying I'll do low detail on that tree in the back, and then I'm zooming in and I'm doing like all the extra detail anyway. I like completely got distracted by talking about swords and shit. Would have had a paladin with a mace or a morning star. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool too. Is it my top pick? No, but it's cool. Hello, Hugo Tate. What is up? Sorry, we're not drawing anything that interesting right now. We're working on trees over here. Working on trees for... Yeah. My God, if I've been streaming for 2 hours, not done these stupid trees. Okay. New plan. Next time, I'm going to sketch something out beforehand. Alright, I'm gonna... And then we will draw that on stream instead of trying to finish this piece, because clearly this piece, I clearly made this to take a long time. Granted, it is looking very nice. Now that we got all those trees detailed, it looks pretty, I gotta say. Now just imagine if all the grass was done, if these mountains were in shadow, and if we had a sky. That would look pretty poppin'. That would look pretty good. Looks dope. Well done. Thank you. Yes. Almost done. Pretty close. But I don't want to really stream for more than 2 hours. And we kind of already have. We're at 2 hours and 6 minutes. And yeah, I'm thinking that I'm done streaming for now. But it was a good stream. I had fun talking with you guys. As usual. ranting while I'm doing art things, right? But yeah, I think next time I do a drawing stream, I probably should have something sketched up and new. I feel like all this extra detailing probably not as visually enjoyable. Not that I'm adding this much detail to everything that I do, but you know. I think maybe next time we're gonna want to just do like one character in a cool pose or something, and then I can still like detail shade that one character, but the big environmental pieces like these, probably want to save all that detailing for off stream because this takes a while. You guys still remember the sketch? I can take this away. Oh, take my layers. There was the sketch. There it was. This is what it would originally look like. Yeah, but actually, now that I'm looking at it, it kind of looks like shit compared to what we were just looking at, huh? That is what we refer to as progress, huh? Yeah. So, good work. This is seeing how the sausage is made. Thanks. Time for a 100 times zoom and begin making the molecule of grass. I don't zoom in that far. I zoom in far enough for me to see, which just so happens to be very far. Like, oh, well, let me actually put the pen where it needs to be. Like, maybe that far. And maybe sometimes. But it's not that far. It's just a big art piece. Alright. Game fans later? Good question. Quite possibly yes. But, yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't see any reason why not. I don't know what game we'll be playing. Maybe we'll play more Revenant, or maybe we'll play the other game that I forget the name of. Well, I'm not really playing that other game. That's all Adam, but yeah. So, as usual, let me thank you guys for joining me on another drawing with Dannphan. I'm also thinking about maybe in the future, if I don't have any particular specific work to be done, I can always do request streams where you just request me to draw something and we can consider it practice, right? Maybe, I don't know. I've seen other artists do those kind of request streams. And I would think, most people would think, that they would become really popular, because I think they're a good idea. But then again, what do I know about good ideas? A lot of my ideas that I thought were really good and would really get me, like, good promotion, it didn't actually work out. So who knows how the internet works nowadays? But, I don't mind a request stream in the future. But, maybe next time we'll just do another one of these illustrations and do a different one so we can, spice it up a little bit. But yeah. So I'll see you next Tuesday, maybe. And, I'll see you on the Game Fans channel if you are going to tune in then. For everybody else, good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye!